For all the latest from the world of motoring, hit that subscribe button and stay connected. The Royal Enfield Himalayan came with a lot of expectations, but it was not until the BS4 version came out that things became stable quality-wise. Today we are joined by Kishore, who is one of the first BS4 version owners of the Himalayan, to share his ownership experience. Hi Kishore, good morning and it's great to have you here. So the Himalayan, it's very controversial by good and bad, but you have the BS4 version and that promises to be a lot better. So what made you choose this bike and how's your experience been so far?
Hey Avin, it's good to be here. And thanks for your videos. I think they should help someone who has yet to decide which bike to buy.
Thank you.
And coming to Himalayan, this is my first bike, and it's been around 11 months since I bought it. And I've been riding. I learned riding since I was a kid, but I never thought of actually buying a bike and riding it, like going on long rides or anything. And soon after I finished my college and got into a job and everything got bored, and then I thought I should definitely
it's time to escape.
Yeah, it's time to escape into the wild and get some personal time, do rides and meet new people. So that's when I decided to buy a bike and travel. And the reason I chose Himalayan was it was better suited to Indian roads.
Did you think about any other bikes?
Yes, I thought about few bikes, Dominar and Thunderbird. But I thought they were like too mainstream bikes, and the suspension is which pulled me to this bike. I went to first Kerala with this bike, and then which is when I fell in love with this bike. I felt it was like it gave me too much comfort, even while riding in harsh conditions.
But I believe that you went on a rented bike that one.
Yes,
that was
I went on a rented BS3 version then. But I was at that point I was choosing, like deciding which bike to buy. I was somewhat inclined to buy a sportier bike so that I can corner and have some fun. But finally I thought, no, this is a bike I will definitely need. So,
and in terms of the quality issues, like over the BS3, how is the BS4 version?
Since I bought it, it's been 11 months, and I have clocked about 24,000 kilometers. I never had any issues apart from frequent punctures, because these are tube tires, that's bound to happen. Apart from those, I never had any issues. So I think BS3 had a lot of issues, and I was skeptical to buy BS4. I did not even wait for reviews or anything. I just signed up, made the full payment and waited for a week to get the bike. But finally I got it. I'm definitely happy with it.
Now the Himalayan came with a totally new engine, the 400cc engine. And that's a new direction for Royal Enfield as well. So how has your experience been with it?
The new engine for Himalayan, it's very refined, that's what I can say. I've ridden other Enfield bikes, Thunderbird and Classic 350. And I can feel the vibration on those bikes even after you start the bike and not go at any speed. But this bike can take everything. I think even at 120 speed on highways, you do not feel any vibrations, and that's actually pretty good for long tours, because you have to sit on the bike for like straight stretches of 10 hours per day.
So when you're out riding.
Yes, definitely. And you don't want any vibrations on your handlebar.
And what speeds do you cruise at?
I usually cruise at 80 to 100 because that's the most economical. And it's actually much better for Indian roads, because if you are too over the speed limit, you can't stop in the time. And yes.
And so this is your daily bike as well, right?
Yes, this is my daily bike as well. I use it to commute daily.
So how is it in the city? Is the gearing fine? Is it easy to engage?
Yes, in cities I do not find any issues with it, even with the engine heating up. There are sometimes very rarely it heats up, That too, even if you rev it and in first gear also too much.
Okay.
But apart from that, if you want to use it for daily commute, you can do that. Bike weighs like 190 kgs and I weigh one third of it, less than one third of it. But I can still manage through traffic and confidently go through.
And how about, I mean, this bike is all about bottom end torque. So, how's your...
The low end torque is very good, which is what I like very much about this bike.
Okay.
Because once you have to accelerate from standstill so many times in traffic.
Yeah.
That too in city like Bangalore.
Even when you go off-road,
even when you go off-road, as you said, you have to stop and accelerate.
Yeah.
At that point, you need very good low end torque to get you to speed soon.
Get you
out of places actually, not speed. Like climb mountains or like there was one time in Chikmagalur I was trapped in slush.
Okay.
So it took me almost a minute to wiggle out the slush and out of the slush and pull me out myself.
So then you need immediate power to come out.
Yes,
so
definitely.
It can handle this thing.
It can handle anything, and that's what I really like about this bike. And the engine performance on highways is also very good.
Okay.
You will get good economy if you cruise at 80.
Okay.
But you can go till 120 without feeling any vibrations.
Comfortable cruising speeds?
Comfortable. I feel 80 to 100 is very comfortable cruise speed. Yes.
I heard a couple of owners talk about the clutch on this bike. I mean,
yes, the clutch
is
a bit heavier side, because even in traffic and on highways you have to like keep changing the clutch whenever you have to stop or like change speed.
Okay.
So it would have been better if RE had some kind of slip clutch or some less pressure had to be applied.
Okay.
So it kind of tires out if you like keep pulling the clutch, and by the end of the day there will be some kind of wrist pain, like you have to keep doing like this all the time. So.
And finally, the most important, what's the exact efficiency you're getting?
Yeah, the efficiency I not gauge it exactly, but the average efficiency I'm getting in cities is 20 to 25 around that, because of traffic. So many gear shifts and everything. Okay. On highways, cruising at 80 to 100 gives you best economy of around 30 kilometers per liter. Okay. And if you go above 100, it will like
come down
like
drastically.
Yes, it will come down drastically, and above 120 it will just dry up everything. Okay. Yes. So 80 to 100 is best cruise speed, and it's very good for Indian roads. I think.
So now the whole purpose of the Himalayan and the whole campaign, behind the Himalayan is the one motorcycle that you need to have and then that you can take anywhere. So how's your experience been with it?
I've taken this bike to many places, mostly in South India.
Okay.
I've gone till Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kanyakumari, Rameshwaram, Ooty, Pondicherry.
So the whole circle around Bangalore.
Yes, there are some different arcs from Bangalore.
Yeah.
And this bike has never disappointed me in any of the rides. It never broke down, no issues at all. And the comfort has been absolute peach, because after riding for 600 kilometers in a day, I was able to, I felt like I could ride more. Okay. Like, I think 600 kilometers is like big number for me, because since this is my first bike and I've been only riding for 11 months regularly.
Okay.
So that kind of comfort is what I expected in this bike. I thought this
600 kilometers is in general 8 to 12 hours.
Yes,
anywhere
10 to 12
that,
hours even including traffic. So that will actually give me more comfort to go ride and see places. Like let's say I reach some place in the evening and I go out and I see other places in that particular town or city. So that gives me more freedom to explore. That's what I found.
So the riding position is relaxed, and
yes, the riding posture is very relaxed, and if you keep the handlebar like very soft and hold it very soft, there won't be any pain in your elbows or shoulders. So that's what is very good handlebar position does with this bike. And as far as the suspension, I love it, because no other bike can come close to this bike.
I mean, this handling not just off-road but basic Indian roads as well.
Yes, as I was saying, I grew up in a village where the roads equal to no roads. So it's like no, you can't say if it's actually a road or no road. And in those kind of conditions, if you take any other bike other than any adventure tourer like this bike, you'll definitely have a back pain or anything, that you're tired of actually so much gravel and everything. So it will tire you definitely out.
But this
But
one,
this
just
bike, I
goes
can
through.
I can just stand up and ride. I don't have any issues with that. Like if the patch is too bad, I'll just stand up and then I'll let the suspension take care of everything. And the rear suspension as well, I felt it. It was very good. It can handle pretty bad rough patches. And that front suspension is too good because sometimes when you're riding, at least in cities, you don't see the small speed breakers because now it's not labeled or anything, so you tend to miss sometimes. So at low speeds you can even go over them and not worry about them.
And coming to the brakes, I think that's one of the biggest concerns from the BS3 version as well. So
yeah, brakes, the only thing that I find unsatisfactory about this bike is the brakes, because the brakes are something that gives you enough confidence to ride a bike. Because not at what speed you can go, but the ability to brake and if you can stop the bike in time, that will give you a lot of confidence. But I felt the bikes are somewhat on the downside on this bike. I thought I'd get a ABS version, but I knew the Royal Enfield was not going to launch.
I think it's just launched now.
Yes, it just launched. That's what I was going to say. I waited so long to get the BS4 version, so I did not want to wait for so much time for ABS version. So I thought, and I say let's do it, and then bought it.
And when you talk about hardcore off-roading, how has it been? How has this bike handled those kind of conditions?
I've not gone off-road in many places, but I've been to some good patches. There's this one ride with a group in Chikmagalur. That was like very harshest conditions for me. It was like the Baba Budangiri peak. You have to ride some more uphill. And the road is like only a car can pass through. And there it was raining heavily with the winds and everything. If you close your visor, you can't see anything because of the fog. If you open it, water will enter your face. And
that kind of
conditions also, it turned very good. I performed very well. There were other bikes as well, Thunderbird Classic, and those guys kind of felt it hard because of the suspension totally different bike. But that's what this bike is for, to take places and go everywhere
and be comfortable while doing it.
Yes, and comfortable level is what I definitely love about this bike. You have to give RE guys thumbs up for that, because they made such a good bike.
So now we come to the most important question, that is about maintenance of the Himalayan. So with the BS3, a lot of people had issues. So how has your experience been with the BS4 version?
The service intervals for Himalayan is pretty much different from other Enfield bikes. I think it's 3,000 kilometers for Enfield Classic and Thunderbirds. But for Himalayan, it's 5,000. Every 5,000 kilometers, you will need a service. And I've been very fortunate enough, because I did not have any issues till now. That I had to go to service center unscheduled visit.
Unscheduled.
So I never had to make an unscheduled visit to service center.
I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to hear that.
Yes, because BS3 version had so many issues like coil burning and other issues, so many issues. People had to visit service center so frequently, and they were fed up with it. I was skeptical about that issue, because I did not want my bike to spend more time in service center than
out riding.
So. But good thing is you don't have to do that with the BS4 version.
And how about service costs and spare part costs, etc.?
Yes, the service costs and the spare part costs are pretty decent, I think. Because once I broke an indicator and it cost me 350 rupees. But I don't think you'll get that cheap for any other similar bikes.
Similar class bikes.
And I inquired for tubes for different front and rear tires. So it costs around 700 to 900 rupees. And tires as well. I had to change tires now, I think. At the pretty decent cost, I think, for a bike of this importance, for me at least. And the service center quality is somewhat on the downside from Royal Enfield. Because I think they are third-party managers who manage the service centers. They are not up to the mark. There are times that I left my bike at service center for more than 2 days and wondering what happened with it. So, yes.
So definitely service can be better.
Yes, definitely service can be better. But the thing is, I did not have to go to a service center when I didn't want to.
So there's no parts failing.
Yes, no parts failing or nothing. The only thing is, since I covered many kilometers, so every time I had to go to service center, it was within like 1 month interval.
Okay.
So within 11 months of buying this bike, I exhausted all my free services.
Okay.
And I gone like above twice the amount of services that are required for this.
Okay.
Not because they had any issues, but
Just because you ride a lot.
yes,
That's the right way.
That's because I ride a lot.
So now you owned it long enough and you know your bike very well. So what changes do you suggest or modifications, add-ons, accessories you suggest to make the ownership experience better?
There are not many modifications that I have done on my Himalayan.
Okay.
I have to do more. I got this RAM mount to locate and navigate through different places I visit.
Okay.
And I got extra clutch cable and other cables that are required because they tend to break.
Okay.
It's not for with this bike, it's with any other bike.
Yeah,
with wear and tear,
wear and tear.
cables
You
break.
always have a spare ready and just plug and play.
Because you don't get these spares anywhere.
Okay.
If you're in a stranded place and you got the disconnected clutch cable, you were messed up, screwed up. So it's always good to have a backup. And the headlight I felt was like somewhat inefficient for night riding. I don't do a lot of night rides, but even in cities or someplace you go and it's dark, you can't see better with this default stock headlight.
Okay.
And the low beam itself is somewhat like higher beam. Like people always like blink their headlights.
Okay, yeah. So vehicle is also actually quite tall.
Yes, the cars that oncoming cars, they actually blink lights thinking that I'm in a high beam.
Okay.
But that's my low beam, so I can't do anything for that. So that's why I got these auxiliary lights, as you can see that side.
Yeah, got it.
So the lights are pretty much what missing in this bike as far as riding. And I thought of changing tires because the stock Seat tires are now worn out.
Okay.
And they had a good grip when they were new. Okay. But right now they kind of they're slightly skidding in the corners and.
But is there any way to make it tubeless, and that would have made it perfect, right?
Tubeless, actually I read a lot about why Himalayan don't have tubeless tires. What I found out was like even the high-end bikes like BMW or any other high-end bikes, they also have a spoke wheel with tubed ones. Okay. But I hear that actually is very expensive. Okay. So that's why probably to keep the cost low, Royal Enfield went with tube tires with the spoke. Okay. Because spoked wheels give you more comfort and
off-road as well.
Yeah, off-road they actually don't break. Yes, exactly. Okay. The alloy wheels tend to break sometimes, and because of that, I think every off-road bike has a spoke wheel. Yeah.
So are you planning to try some of those slush and all that? Like you put it into the tube and stuff like that? No?
Yes, I mean I might do that because I've been pretty. There are 2 or 3 times that the rear and front wheel got punctured out of nowhere. And I had to like push the bike for 1 or 2 kilometers, and
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough with this bike, with this heavy machine. Yeah. But if you will definitely have to learn how to like self puncture kit and those things. So that will be too much helpful. Too helpful.
And you're talking about braking. Did you try any other combinations? Or
combination means you mean ABS? Okay.
Yeah, not just ABS in general. I mean,
I was expecting ABS version long back, but they didn't really. Royal Enfield didn't do that. But now the good thing for users is there is an ABS version launched recently. Okay. And I've seen a video of it, and the braking power is absolutely, I mean, too good compared to the non-ABS version. Okay. So I definitely would try to get the ABS version installed in this bike. If service.
But I believe that is not switchable, right? So
yes, the sad part is Royal Enfield. I don't know why they didn't make it switchable ABS, because when you go off-road, I've seen people doing those power slides and locking the rear wheel and skidding the bike. That will be actually more fun in off-road. So you eliminate all that if you give ABS and not switch it off.
So at least switchable for the rear wheel would have been.
Yes, at least switchable for rear wheel would have been better. But I think people will find a way to make it modded, and anyway they'll get it modified. That's for sure. But I think it would have been much better if Fari had thought of it. And
it of course it's better if it comes as a company setting.
Yes, because you don't have to then worry about avoiding any warranty or anything. So yes.
So Kishore, it was great to have you here. I'm sure a lot of people want to know more about the BS4, especially because the BS3 was entangled in a lot of controversy. So thank you so much, and there's a lot of good feedback, and I'm sure it'll help a lot of people.
Thank you, Owen. Thanks for having me here. And I wish this video will help a lot of people decide if they want to buy a Himalayan or not. And I really want to say that this video is not to push you towards buying Himalayan, but this is just to give you our point of view.
Your experience.
Yes,
exactly.
And it's finally your choice which bike you want to buy. I suggest you ride the bike, you take it different places, you will know why so many people are preferring this bike. And that whole debacle of BS3 versus BS4, the issues of BS4, and none of them are in BS4. And it's safe to say that it's much better bike now without any issues. And the braking issue, which I personally feel, that's now solved with the ABS version recently launched. And with ABS version, I think it will make you a better and safe rider, because Indian conditions need much braking for in emergency situations. So yes. And I'd like to add one point regarding the safety gear. Wherever I go, people ask me how much does this jacket cost, how much does your helmet cost. I say like 10,000, 5,000. They say, you spent that much amount of money on a jacket. I said, yes, this is what saves me in case of a crash.
Yeah, because you spend more that money in hospital.
Yes, exactly. I spend so much time riding. Why not invest good amount of money on safety gears? Because you see a lot of people not wearing helmets, even if it's mandatory. They say, Acha, we don't have police here, or it's for police. That's what people do. And I really want that to change, for people to give more value to their life and realize that safety gears are not a business, but it's to save your life in case of an accident.
So guys, the Himalayan BS4 is a much sorted motorcycle than before. But can it be better? Of course, but then that's true for any motorcycle. Thank you for watching, and please do hit that subscribe button.